I arrived in Lake Como on a mission I didn't want. On a steamy afternoon in 2003, just days before the start of Italy's hottest summer in 3 centuries, I would rather have been bouncing across the cobalt blue lake on a speedboat, sipping sunset-colored Bellinis by the legendary floating pool at Villa d'Este, a hotel as famous for its Renaissance gardens as the glitterati who flocked there. Instead, I lurked in the dim, covered parking lot of the Best Western Grand Hotel Imperiale because the front desk clerk had kindly requested that I leave his lobby. After reading that George Clooney played tennis at the 4-star hotel on the shores of Lake Como, I had stopped by to casually chat with the staff about the world's hottest actor. But the front desk clerk, as if protecting state secrets, wouldn't divulge a thing about George, who had recently purchased a villa nearby. While unsuccessfully prying, the constant thud of a tennis ball hitting the surface caught my attention. Assuming that George was playing tennis on a court above the lobby that very second, I said nothing more to the front desk clerk. Instead, I took a seat in the lobby. I placed my dog carrier, containing my travel companion Lucy, a long-haired Chihuahua, by my feet and waited, certain that George would walk through the lobby when he left the court. The hotel employee approached me wearing a look of determination. "The lobby is only for hotel guests," he said. "Fine, I'd like a room, please." That daring request had worked in the past, but not this time. Having been kicked out of better places, I headed to the parking lot, passing a bicycle. Undeterred, I stashed the dog carrier in my rental car, put the window down for Lucy, and returned to the bike. Examining the purple Specialized Hard Rock GS bicycle, I concluded it was the same one I saw in the local paper that identified it as George's bike. I had done my homework on George. No, I wasn't an obsessed fan. Much worse, a celebrity reporter. That title gave me the right to stalk whomever I damn well pleased, even if it felt as humiliating as holding a flute out for more champagne and having a server breeze by me. Less than 10 minutes passed before I heard footsteps approaching. Like a mirage in the desert, George appeared before me. At last. Despite his perspiration, he looked Wimbledon ready in a damp Caesar's Palace white polo shirt, white knee-length shorts, white crew socks, and spotless white tennis shoes. His black baseball cap turned backwards, barely exposed slivers of gray hair, but made his half-closed bedroom eyes and long eyelashes that made women around the globe swoon stand out even more. A navy blue tennis racket bag slung over his shoulder completed his ensemble. "What are you doing here?" George asked. His tone oozed astonishment, not anger. "Ciao, George. I told you in December at the movie line party in Hollywood that I was moving to Italy. Remember? I moved to Florence in April." "I'm not doing any interviews. Who are you working for anyway?" A year and a half had passed since George and I first met in Los Angeles when I interviewed all the stars from the Ocean's 11 cast together for USA Today. George associated me with the nation's newspaper, but he's media savvy enough to know that USA Today didn't send me to Lake Como to spy on him during his 2-week vacation at Villa Oleandra, a 25-room, 18th century mansion that he had purchased for $10 million the previous fall. This assignment reeked of a media outlet with money to burn. "People magazine sent me," I said. "Come on, George, just give me a few quotes. I've already been here for a couple of days and I've been spending a lot of the magazine's money." In the back of my mind was yesterday's $200 meal at the luxurious Villa d'Este, the lodging bill I was running up at the 4-star Hotel Excelsior Barchetta, the rental car, and lunch at Harry's Bar, where George had dined a couple of times. The previous afternoon, I devoured so much scrumptious food at Harry's Bar, the restaurant's gregarious owner Pietro's told me, "Meglio comprare un vestito che invitate al pranzo," a common Italian phrase that men say to gluttonous women like me that translates to, "It's better to buy you a dress than invite you to lunch." "I need to justify my expenses," I said to George. Begging didn't become me, but I had no choice. "The magazine has photos of you here. You know they're going to run them, so just please give me a few quotes. I promise I'll leave you alone if you do." Whether George pitied me or because he is the son of an accomplished journalist, he couldn't resist helping me. He told me about his 85-year-old grandmother, Deepa Warren, being on the trip, and this being her first trip to Europe. Her room on the first floor of Villa Oleandra opened onto a well-manicured lawn. She sat around and looked at flowers all day, George said. She couldn't believe it. And the food. I got her eating a lot and speaking Italian. He talked about a bicycle being his preferred mode of transportation around Lake Como, his feeble attempts at learning Italian, and La Bella Vita in Laglio, a village with a population of 850. Even though he was sweaty, I badly wanted to hug and kiss George on his cheek to thank him, but knew that crossed the professional line. Snooping was acceptable, though. People magazine's London bureau chief and New York editors were ecstatic after reading my report. They didn't expect me to interview George, only to talk to the residents of Laglio to find out what it's like having America's ultimate bachelor as their new neighbor. The evening after I filed my report, I sat on my hotel terrace overlooking Lake Como, nursing a Bellini. My big get earned me a gold star at People, but demoralized me. I didn't move from Los Angeles to Italy to pester stars de Hollywood, as they are called in Italy. I moved 6,000 miles to escape the industry that controlled my life to the point where I didn't know who I was. As alluring as my life as a celebrity reporter looked to my former Westchester High School classmates at our reunions in LA, I found it downright degrading and as empty as a starlet's belly the night of the Oscars. Sucked into Hollywood's glitzy vortex following 11 fulfilling years as a trailblazing sports writer, when I became the first female beat writer assigned to cover the Los Angeles Lakers, I initially looked forward to dressing up for work, mingling with beautiful people, sipping champagne nightly, and often sitting down to enjoy gourmet meals and fine wine. But it got old in my late 30s when I found myself on red carpet arrival lines, standing next to eager beaver recent college grads who thought their assignment was the coolest thing since the invention of cell phones. And I could forget about finding a romantic partner. My only dates were of the medjool variety because 95% of the men I encountered were gay, and the straight ones I met on Match.com told me they couldn't bring any excitement to my so exhilarating world. Who had time to date anyway? My job demanded I hop from one star study event to another 4 or 5 nights a week. On the rare nights I was home, I watched every entertainment magazine TV show and read the celebrity weeklies cover to cover. I absorbed every bit of celeb minutia that I could and never purged. I figured on Italian soil I could cleanse my brain of the useless celebrity fashion knowledge that wedged itself in the crevices and replace it with fascinating history about Renaissance artists such as Botticelli and Caravaggio. Instead of waiting to interview rappers who were notoriously late for interviews, I could go to Milan's famous Scala Opera House and enjoy the works of composers Giuseppe Verdi and Giacomo Puccini. I longed to live in a southern Italian coastal town where little English is spoken, write freelance travel stories, and fall asleep nightly in the strong arms of a handsome Italian beau whom I prayed was faithful to. I had come to Italy to escape, to reinvent myself, and to find something that had been missing for far too long, my identity and love. Desiring more than half-hour conversations with famous faces who knew to put on an act for a positive article, I wanted a story of my own, one worth telling, and maybe, just maybe, Italy was where it would begin.